Outdoors-Delmarva covers everything outdoors, including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife. Now, we do our best each week to bring you tasteful content, but viewer discretion is advised. Now, enjoy the show.
This is Outdoors-Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
We'll meet a couple of new friends at the Salisbury Zoo.
And then it's up to the Indian River Marina to talk an annual kids fishing tournament for a cause.
We're off to Hopewell to meet boating enthusiasts of a different nature in this week's Remembering Scorchy Taws.
We meet the final recipient of the WBOC Mount Air Farm to Table Scholarship in Bethany Beach.
And finally, we'll scoot back down to Pocomoke City to tour the Delmarva Discovery Museum.
Outdoors Delmarva starts right now.
Welcome to Outdoors Delmarva, the show dedicated to a commitment of conservation and to the community that makes Delmarva's outdoors such a hidden gem here in the Mid-Atlantic. My name is Jason Lee.
And I'm Lauren Hitch, and this week's show is all about the kids.
Or those who are a kid at heart.
Or like us, who are both. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3, go!
Help! Help! Help!
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. And now, here's Jason Lee and Lauren Hitch.
We're here at the Salisbury Zoo. Now, Jason, I have some really great memories of my parents bringing me to the zoo when I was a kiddo, and now I get to bring my son Riker here, and he loves it. We come quite often, but I was really excited to hear about some new friends that the Salisbury Zoo has.
Yeah, the Salisbury Zoo is one of my favorite places to visit on Delmarva, and when we heard that they had a couple of new additions, some straw-necked ibises named Floyd and Gonzo, well, we just had to get in here.
Well, one of my favorite parts about working here is the Salisbury Zoo is a free zoo, which is very rare throughout the country. And that means that anybody in our community can come to our zoo and see our animals and share the experiences and learn and just be a part of it.
So these two ibis, their names are Gonzo and Floyd. They've come to us from the Phoenix Zoo. Zoos throughout the country do work together to have animals at different facilities, which is great.
These are water birds. They'll get to about 2.5 to 3 feet tall with a 3 to 4 feet long wingspan. They're native to Australia and they prefer lagoons, swamplands, wetlands, stuff like that. Their long beak allows them to probe down into the dirt and into the mud and pick out insects. Cool coloration as well with that glossy color, and they are very vocal. They have these bellowing calls. They kind of gurgle or grunt that can be heard from a very large distance away.
The Salisbury Zoo is the hidden gem of Salisbury. It is right next to our city park, and we're open every day of the year except for Christmas and Thanksgiving from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Please come visit us. We'd love to see you. We'd love to answer any questions that you have, and our animals would love to see you too.
The Salisbury Zoo is always a fun place to visit, no matter your age, and Ben's Red Swings Playground is fun too.
That it is. Coming up after the break, we head to the Indian River Marina to preview the annual Kids Catch-All Tournament to benefit the Lyme Disease Association of Delmarva.
Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru, returns right after these messages.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, which is presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Sponsored by Shorts Marine and Bell Creek Equipment.
Welcome back to Outdoors Delmarva. The 8th annual Kids Catch-All Fishing Tournament is coming back to the Indian River Marina the weekend of June 24th and 25th.
This tournament is more than about reeling in the biggest catch. It's about catching the smallest thing before it becomes a bigger problem.
So we have the 8th annual Kids Catch-All Fishing Tournament being held June 24th and 25th at the Indian River Marina, and that's near Rehoboth Beach. And it is a premier family event, but it's also a fundraiser for the Lyme Disease Association of Delmarva. and kids ages 3 to 18 are invited. And we have, you can fish anywhere at all. So kids will be fishing off the beach, kids will be fishing off the jetty. Some families will go offshore for tuna and some of the larger fish. And some families will be fishing by boat or private boat or charter boat out of the bays. And we have 14 different categories for custom-made trophies are awarded. We have one of the unique features of the tournament is that we have an all-you-can-eat dinner each night where the families get together, swap fishing stories. We have Big Fish Grill doing a Mexican fiesta on Saturday night, and Bethany Blues is doing a great American cookout on Sunday night, and yes, their famous barbecue is included.
And Cook 'em. We sponsor the tournament with prizes for all the children that are registered for this tournament. Everyone gets either rods and reels, or they get tackle boxes, or they get some kind of fishing related product. It's important to get the message out about the Lyme disease, as well as get children involved in fishing. We need more of them outside instead of inside on their phones and on their computers. It's a great way to learn about the fishing industry. They have fun at the same time.
All kids have to be registered either in person or online by 9 o'clock on Saturday, June 24th. Your lines can be in at 6:30, and then you fish anywhere, but then the kids bring their fish back right here to the weigh station between the hours of 3 and 6 in the afternoon. And we have certified weigh masters who will weigh all the fish. We keep a running board. The kids get pictures taken with a bragging board. And so we have some local magazines that are here, so the kids' pictures may end up in a local magazine. You can learn more about the tournament, see pictures from last year, and register online at www.kidscatchall.com.
For more information and to get yourself registered, go online to kidscatchall.com.
Up next on the show, in this week's Remembering Scorchy Taws, we head to Hopewell to see Kids at Heart racing model boats.
Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. We'll be right back.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
My kiddo is almost 4 years old, and right now he's really into remote control trucks. And I'm thinking maybe on his next birthday we'll have to get him a remote control boat.
Well, take a look at this, Lauren, as Scorchy Taws takes us to Hopewell, where we see some kids taking their love of toys out on the water.
Honoring the life and legacy of Scorchy Taws, thanks to Shorts Marine in Long Neck, Delaware. Shorts Marine, everything but the water.
It was a beautiful day for powerboat racing. Spectators arrived early. They came by car, on foot, by sailboat, and in fancy cabin cruisers. Every Saturday, you see, is powerboat racing day in Hopewell, just 4 miles north of Crisfield. And the drivers, like Eugene Travers of Cambridge, are deeply addicted.
On Friday night, I can't hardly sleep. I have to wait. Just can't wait to get down here to Crisfield on Saturday morning.
By now, the cat is out of the bag. Our drivers are not members of the American Powerboat Association. They are just the good old boys of the Chum Plant Radio Control Boat Club of Crisfield, and they take their racing seriously.
Every Saturday, I've never missed a Saturday.
We really enjoy it. There's about 15 of us in the club.
The 2 hours or so that precede the big race is a busy, busy time. The boats must be fine-tuned and tested, and pit crews labor with the intensity of brain surgeons. The boat must obey every command. Finally, all boats are ready and the drivers are at the controls. It is the magic moment. Through the eyes of the driver, racing can be very unnerving. The boats reach speeds of 50 to 60 miles an hour, and control of your boat is the key.
Yeah, and sometimes there's no control at all.
Anything you can imagine that might happen has happened.
At race end,
all right, there's the winner, Class B Hydro, Eugene Travers, Cammy Smiling.
he got no silver cup, no fat check. Like all members of the Chum Plant Club, he had two things to do: pretty up his boat and wait for next week. Scorchy Taw is wandering our Delmarvelous land for WBOC News.
Remembering Scorchy Taws is presented by Shorts Marine, online at shortsmarine.com.
Did you know that when Delaware surf fishing tags went on sale for the 2022 season, sales volume peaked at 742 permits issued per minute?
And did you know that the annual cap implemented in 2019 has gone away, meaning you can buy your surf fishing permit right now at destateparks.com?
Now you do.
Did You Know is sponsored by North Bay Marina.
We've still got a lot to get to, so we're changing things up a bit this week.
We're going to take a look at your latest photos right now, thanks to our friends at North Bay Marina.
Liam Bevard of Newark is back on the show, this time making a new friend in this box turtle.
Kimber Jarman of Seaford poses with this bluegill she caught.
Brian, Rhonda, Jamie, and Karen Fitzhugh had a pretty good day flounder fishing in Wachapreague.
George Ball of Easton took advantage of last week's wildfire smoke by taking this sunset photo over the chop tank in Cambridge.
And Rob Maston reminded us that to protect and serve doesn't stop at humans. These ducklings fell into a drain at Milford High School, but were rescued and released back into the wild.
Outdoors Delmarva viewer pictures are sponsored by North Bay Marina. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru, Higher Standards, sponsored by Shorts Marine, everything but the water, and Bell Creek Equipment. For farm, home, or fun, Bell Creek is #1.
Welcome back to Outdoors Delmarva. Jason, they say all good things must come to an end.
And so it is with the final recipient of the 2022-2023 WBOC Mount Air Farm to Table Scholarship, Indian River's Sam Tioli.
My family's Italian, so, growing up cooking, Sunday dinner, doing family meals, just cooking in the kitchen since I was yay big. And then it just stuck with me. I watched the Food Network, and then I loved all the people on there, and I was like, oh, I want to do that.
She's a godsend, and any chef would be happy to have her in their kitchen, and that comes from the heart. I see hard work and determination and trying to figure out how she's going to get it done. If she can't figure it out, I don't see any hesitation in her asking anybody for help.
She just shows a lot of poise, even when she's busy. Just patience. She doesn't get flustered. She's got this big smile on her face. Half the time she's working, she'll look up, always has a joke. And, I think it helps in the busy times of a restaurant where things can get really chaotic. She just kind of brings a really nice vibe to the whole thing we've got going on at Hideaway. She's a pleasure to work with. But she definitely has a leadership quality about her. But it's not really the type of thing where it's Sam's telling everyone how to do things. That's not it. She really takes just an approach of, she listens. She listens when you're teaching her something. She takes it all in. She practices.
Her ability to maintain the calmness under pressure is leadership. Her even hand is something that is what others are looking up to. that leadership quality will develop naturally with someone like that. You can't teach hard work, can't teach personality, and she's got all the tools to be far, far more successful than I think even she realizes in this moment.
Someone can always do the job better than you in some aspects, and knowing when to step down and not be a leader might be the strongest leadership aspect that you could have.
Sam Tioli, for your commitment to feeding the world like we do at Mount Air Farms, it's my pleasure to present to you the WBOC Mount Air Farm to Table Scholarship Award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Sam. And once again, congratulations to all of our winners this year.
Our thanks to Zach Evans and Mount Air Farms for all the great things they're doing for our kids. And we can't wait for next year's Farm to Table Scholarship Program.
To learn more, search Farm to Table at WBOC.com.
Coming up next, we head to Pocomoke to get a tour of the Delmarva Discovery Museum. Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. We'll be right back.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
Welcome back to Outdoors Delmarva. We're headed to Pocomoke City to get a guided tour of the Delmarva Discovery Museum.
And if you've never been, we think you'll be utterly amazed.
The Delmarva Discovery Museum, located on the banks of the scenic Pocomoke River, not only showcases Delmarva's wild side, but also some of the history of the area.
Taylor Griffith, the museum's education and animal curator, was our guide for the tour.
So when we first come into the museum, we come through our two red walls, and it's kind of a step back in time to the colonial periods and when the Native Americans would have been here. So our tribe that we work with, and that would have been back in that era, is the Pocomoke Indian Nation. They're part of the Algonquin tribe, and Algonquin's really just the language that all the different tribes spoke, and then it's a bunch of sub-tribes that went into the Algonquin tribe. So ours is the Pocomoke Indian Nation, and we work with them even to this day to make sure everything in our exhibit is up to how they want their history to be told.
Within the Native American exhibit are artifacts, culturally significant works of art, and a real beaver dam rebuilt inside the museum, stick by stick.
Taylor also explained that otters will actually move into a beaver dam and eventually force beavers out of their home.
But I'm sure Mac and Tuck would never do something like that.
Delmarva is home to lots of God's creatures, and some of them don't have fins or fur.
Some have scales and shells, and Taylor explained that Gary the turtle's shell has damage from his encounter with a car.
She also reminded us that if you help a turtle cross the road, make sure you take them in the direction they were headed. Otherwise, they'll be right back in the street.
So Mac and Tuck are two North American river otters. Mac is our oldest guy. He's about 9 or 10 years old, and then Tuck is between 8 and 9. When they got trapped and evaluated, they got deemed to be used as an educational species just because they associated people and food way too much. And we are so glad that the farmer contacted USDA, because down in Louisiana, it is still legal to hunt and trap these guys down there. So if they would have been re-released into the wild, they could have came across a farmer that was not as nice as the one that they came across. We used them to educate the public about their species, because the North American river otter is native to our area. They are an indicator species, so you actually see one of these guys out in the wild, that means that that ecosystem is doing really well. If the ecosystem gets a little bit out of whack due to pollutions or toxins, they'll be one of the first species to leave that area.
We appreciate Taylor for taking time out of her day to show us around.
For more information about the museum, go online to delmarvadiscoverycenter.org.
Jason, it's time for the Mount of the Week, brought to us by Longhorn Butcher and Taxidermy.
This piebald 10-pointer was harvested on Pocomoke public land in 2021.
And Spencer did a fantastic job with it. Make sure to check out Longhorn Butcher and Taxidermy on Facebook.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to keep sending in your photos by emailing outdoors@wboc.com, and don't forget to scan that QR code in the bottom right corner of your screen.
Children are so important to preserving our way of life here on Delmarva, so if you want them to enjoy all that we know and love here, make sure to get them
Outdoors Delmarva.
Outdoors Delmarva, a Draper Media production, is presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Sponsored by Shorts Marine and Bell Creek Equipment.